man, Zaquan Zaidi, who starts from pole. And what a pole lap it was too. 209.7. Only two of the guys made it into the 209s. So very, very impressive for him. And Yukio Kageyama is here this weekend having a bit of a look around. He's also racing in the Suzuka 8 Hours with Yoshimura Suzuki. So it's good to see Yukio still riding a bike. But for now, let's head down to the grid with Wei Ling. She's with our riders.
Thank you, Steve. So we're here down here on the starting grid for the last race of the day. Starting from pole position is Muhammad Zaquan Zaidi. Zaquan, you've been showing very strong pace here this weekend, yesterday and today. How has your experience here at Suzuka Circuit helped you this weekend?
Yeah, for me, I'm happy to get this pole position because I have many laps here. For sure, I try to take this advantage and I try my best to get the win.
All right, thank you so much, Zaquan. Good luck for the first race. And starting alongside Zaquan, Ratapong Willara on his best grid position so far this season in the ASB1000. Ratapong starting from the middle of the grid. This is a lot of improvement from you this weekend compared to the previous round. What has changed for you?
Yeah, for me, it's like now our team can set the bike. For me, it's like make me more confident with the bike, and also everything's quite good in this weekend because we continue to improve in every session. So I think today is we will fun to fight at the top group.
All right, thank you so much, Ratapong. Good luck for your first race. And we're gonna go to the second row of the grid to talk to a rider that crashed in qualifying today. So Brock, this morning we saw you had a little tumble in qualifying. How are you so far, and how is your machine?
Yeah, I fell off in the my fast lap, and yeah, I felt really good. And then with a new rear tire, and then unfortunately I lost the front, and yeah, the bike was quite badly damaged, so the guys had to work really hard. I felt good this weekend, and yeah, I think that we're going to be in a good situation.
So you, of course, also are amongst one of the 1,000cc rider with a lot of experience here at Suzuka with the 8-hour endurance. So does that help you in terms of your rhythm here at the circuit?
Yeah, it's 100%, you know, but, you know, the Asian Championship comes here every year as well. But, you know, I have a long time here with the Suzuka 8 Hours and many laps. So definitely I hope that it's helped me this weekend and for the race.
All right, thank you so much, Brock. All the best for the first race. And I'm going to send it back to Steve and Barry in the studio.
Well, there we go. We've heard from those guys down on the grid. And when Brock says he had a big crash, he had a massive crash into the spoon curve this morning, and it was definitely a big crash. So hopefully he's okay. It's pretty easy to hide your injuries when you've got a new set of leathers on, but I think that he'll be good to see.
Yeah, we're looking there, Steve, at Apiwak Wongtananon, the Yamaha Thailand rider. This is his third successive appearance on the front row of the grid. He showed right from round 2 at the bend how fast he was, but from round 3 at Chang International, what we saw from him is that he can keep his pace for the whole race. So he's going to be a threat today. Yeah,
it was very, very impressive. This man, of course, Aslan Shah, he stayed on the bike all weekend, which is definitely a good point. He had one moment there where I saw in practice where he nearly threw it away big time, but he managed to hold it together. Double win last time out, sits second in the championship, very close to Brock Parks. It's going to be a good opportunity for him to catch him down. Now, what about this man, Shichi Nakatomi? He's been around for a while. He's raced in many classes, raced in World Superbikes. He's been involved with Dunlop in developing these ASB Dunlop's slicks, so he certainly knows all the tyres. But he did tell us that Dunlop had bought some new compounds here this weekend as well, and he was adamant that he said, well, I've never ridden on these, so we're all in the same boat. So it'd be good to see him and what he can do. Ahmad Yudhishthira, we just heard from him.
Yeah, he's looking relaxed there. He knows his way around this track pretty well, and knowing his story as everybody in this paddock does, everybody's rooting for him. He's a popular rider, so we're hoping he's going to do well. And this man too,
Yeah, Brian Starring, of course, is filling in again. It's good to see him back here, qualified 8th. He had a big crash on Friday in FP1, missed FP2, has done minimal laps this weekend, but great qualifying for him, which put him into that...
Just in shot there, sorry Steve, but that's Titipong who he's filling in for. His fitness is improving after that horrific crash he had in the World Superbike round at Chang.
Absolutely, yeah, it's good to see Titipong here, and I'm sure that he will want to come back. Another guy who had a crash this weekend, you can see him sporting the injured right pinky, is this man, Yuki Ito. He's injured his foot. Luckily, you don't need the foot too much. You don't need to walk when you're on a motorcycle, so he's going to be in a lot of pain out there today. But I guess after watching his companion, Soichiro Minamoto, the Japanese, win the 600 class, you've got to think that's playing on his mind here.
Definitely, and one thing about Yuki, there's no question about the size of his heart. He's a really brave rider, and he loves what he does.
I still remember in India last year when he crashed the bike, picked it up and pushed it over the line. Of course, Bastian Mackles has been riding in the IDM Championship, so good to see him here on his machine, BMW mounted. He's had a lot of experience with BMW machines over the years. And then there's the number 52, of course, one of our wildcard riders. That is Koji Teramoto. He's also been fast throughout the weekend, and at one point was right up amongst the front runners. So keep an eye on that man. And then, of course, number 18, Katsu Matsuda, another guy that is making his way forward in this championship, racing for the Victor Racing team. He's been there for a couple of rounds now, 12th position. That's probably his best qualifying result, especially with a strong field. This is the biggest field that we've had so far as well. Good to see the Asia Road Racing ASB1000 Championship growing. It was actually here a year ago that Ron Hogg said that announced that this class was coming into fruition, and a year later, look where we are. There's a full grid. Look at all the people out there. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, full grid, and as we were saying with the 600s, the Japanese wildcards have really enriched the grid today.
Certainly has, but even the local runners and the full-time crew, it's growing all the time. I can't wait until next year. It's going to be absolutely bumper. Barry, I know you've got the tyres there. Is there anything interesting that you can see, the tyre list from Dunlop?
Well, the front row all running medium front and medium hard rears. We understood from the conversation we had with Nakatomi that the medium is the brand new tyre that he was talking about. Brock Parks, who qualified 4th despite that crash, he's running a hard front and a medium hard rear. Aslan's running a medium front and a soft rear, so quite a variety there. And Nakatomi, who knows Dunlop tyres and this circuit as well as anybody, he's running medium hard front, medium hard rear.
Yeah, okay, well, I guess what that means is keep an eye on Aslan, especially in the early laps, because he should have some sort of advantage.
Yeah, let's see how that works out. So it's going to be interesting, because those medium tyres, as we were saying, are a new compound from Dunlop, who make tyres just for this series.
Well, 12 laps around this Suzuka circuit for these boys, the big boys, the 1000cc machines on grid. Factory support, Zakwan Zaidi there starts from pole position. 1 minute to go until we start the warm-up lap. This is going to be an absolute cracker of a race. Who will win? Can Zakwan Zaidi take a win? He's already had one. Can he make it two?
Yeah, he does love this circuit, and he's got this effortless style around here. He really flows into it.
Just clearing the grid, about to get things underway. We saw the ladies holding out the tighten your helmet straps sign a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, nothing left to chance.
12 laps around here is quite a long way, because you do spend a lot of your time on the edge of the tyre. So really do need to try and conserve the tyres if you can, especially Aslan Shah if he has gone for that soft. That's from what I understand and what you said, one of the few out on the grid that have gone with that soft rear tyre, one at least with the front runners. So it's going to be interesting to see if it was the right choice or not, but he's certainly got nothing to lose.
Yeah, the only other rider doing that, interesting enough, is his teammate, his 1XOX TKKR SAG teammate, Ali Adrianzia. So it's only the BMWs with that combination.
Yep, and of course different bikes do require different hardnesses of rubber as well. So there's definitely nothing wrong with that, going with that choice, especially if it works for him. And boy, would you doubt him after that performance we saw last time out at Chang International Raceway?
No, I think he knows what he's doing. Oh, here comes the grid.
Right, well, let's have a look at our grid. It is Zakwan Zaidi on the number 21 Honda who starts from pole. Rathapong Willarot, what a great result. Second on the grid. Apiwath Wongtananon, number 24 in third, rounds out your front row. Brock Parks, after that crash in qualifying, starts from fourth. Fifth is Aslan Shah, the two guys fighting the championship side by side. Sinchi Nakatomi puts himself on the second row of the grid. No wonder he's smiling there. Ahmed Yudhistira, we heard from him in the colour story just earlier. Brian Starring, stellar result, considering he had that big off and missed lots of track time. Yuki Ito, injuries and all, is on the grid. Bastian Mackels from Germany is here joining the party this weekend. And, of course, Oji Teramoto, another BMW-mounted man. 12th, Katsu Matsuda on his Victor Racing team, Yamaha YZF-R1. A good result for him. Row 5 sees Kawasaki's Chai Witchet Nicasol on the number 29 Kawasaki in 13th. 14th is TJ Alberto. 15th is Adrasan Ruptaputra on his BMW. And also number 16 is Jonathan Sarapika at the back of the field on his Ducati Panigale V4R.
Yeah, one notable thing here, Steve, about Kawasaki Thailand. Of course, Titipong came away from Sepang with a championship lead and then had that crash in World Superbike a week later, is that neither Xiao Shit nor Brian have been here before.
No, they haven't, and that is a very crucial thing, because this circuit, of all circuits, is, trust me, I've ridden at most circuits in the world, as you know, and this is one of the hardest to learn, because it's so tight, it's so many walls, there's so many blind corners, there's ups, there's downs, there's variations. I mean, the TV screen just doesn't show off the elevation changes here. I mean, exactly. That front straight is quite downhill, so there's just so much to play for. And then there's the Suzuka circuit itself. It's just a historic place, and we are having a historic moment here. The first Asia Superbike 1000cc race ever to be held here in Japan at Suzuka. What a day for it.
Absolutely right. What we were saying about the Kawasaki lads, Brian, of course, lost all that track time when he wrecked his bike, and Shawishit, just remember, broke his wrist in Buriram, his left wrist.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pins holding his fingers together.
Only 4 weeks ago.
That's right.
He's now pinned up and back at it. So those boys are up against it. A real test of character for them.
Everyone just settling themselves down now, having a last look, making sure they're on their grid positions. The green flag has been waved. At the back, the red flag is out. We are now in the starters' hands, and we are ready for a start. These guys are about to get underway for 12 laps around this Suzuka circuit, and they're away, and it looks like it is Zakwan Zaidi who's shooting across the track and into the middle straight away. What a great start for him, and it looks like he's going to take the whole shot, but look at Aslan Shah straight into second position from the second row of the grid. A brilliant start from Aslan Shah on the BMW. Puts himself up behind Zakwan Zaidi with one of the Yamahas, not sure which one that is at the moment. That could be...
I think that's Apiwat.
Yeah, it could be Apiwat. He's always a pretty good starter off that front row of the grid. And there's a Kawasaki up there too. Is that Brian Starring who's made his way forward already? Great result for him if it is, having not seen too much of this track before. So Brian Starring's up there. We haven't mentioned Brock Parks' name yet. Big moment there for the BMW wildcard, but manages to hold it all together. But it is number 21, Zakwan Zaidi, who's out front at the moment.
Yeah, he really does make that Honda work well around here. And Aslan Shah, fantastic start from him. It's the best we've seen of him this weekend. Furthest up the order.
Well, the Honda, not the newest of superbikes, but it's always been one of the sweetest handling. It really has. It's been a bike that's been easy to ride, easy to use all the power. And I'll tell you what, this is a track where if you can get the power to the ground and save your energy, you're going to go well. So watch Zakwan Zaidi around here. He's just watched the 600 race and he's got his blood pumping. He wants to get his Honda on the podium and perhaps another victory.
Yeah, and I see Aslan's got Apiwak snarling at him from behind.
Yep, and Brian Starring is up there. Good result for him on his number 60 ZXR10. He's pretty happy with the speed of that thing as well, I can tell you. He's always smiling when he gets off that Kawasaki. He says it's one of the fastest bikes out there on track, but he's right next to Brock Parks at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's Ratapong just went through on Brian Starring.
Yeah, and that could be Brock Parks up there in third position, I reckon. We'll just find out very shortly as we go across the line. And it is Brock Parks in third position. He's made his way forward now in front of the number 24. So Brock Parks taking no time at all to get his bike up into podium positions.
And Aslan into the lead.
Well, good ride by Aslan. Surely he can't do 3 in a row. He's got 2 in a row. Can he do 3 in a row?
Oh, is Hamaguchi going to start?
Well, Hamaguchi won't be too worried about this one. But nevertheless, Aslan Shah's out in front, and I'll tell you, that's probably a pretty smart move for him to do, especially if he hasn't quite got the outright pace, because he can slow the pace down a little bit. He'll try and break away from Zakwan Zaidi, but I'm not sure that he can.
Yeah, maybe make that soft rear tyre work for him.
Well, that's
Zakwan
right.
having a look back.
Yep, Zakwan's nipped up the inside. That's right. We do have to consider that Aslan Shah, the only one of those front runners that has gone with the soft. Whether the other riders know that or not is another question. But nevertheless, it's Brock Parks
Brock
has
won't
gone.
ride then.
Yeah, he missed the gear then. You could just see him just searching for through the gearbox. Looks like he found a false neutral. He's lost a whole bag of places there, so won't be happy. One man that will be happy, though, Brian Starring, will be saying, gee, thank you very much. I'm in 4th in my first ever race at Suzuka. I've got to be pretty happy with that.
Yep, he's doing well.
And that's what Kawasaki need here. They need a little bit of luck as well. It's been pretty much a Yamaha year so far. Honda have had their shining moments at BMW too, but Yamaha lead the championship with Brock Parks at the moment.
Yeah, we saw Aslan go really wide then, and Apiwak go up inside him.
Yeah, Brock Parks has fortunately lost a lot of room, a lot of space. And Apiwak now is right on the back of Aslan Shah.
Yeah, he helped him go wide there. In fact, in the end, he didn't give him any room to try to straighten himself back up again.
Well, if you've got the line, it's your prerogative to hold it, and that's what he did. So all good there. And is the number 21, Zakwan Zaidi, who leads into the fast turn 1 here at Suzuka. Uses all the circuit there. I mean, Aslan, he's no stranger to this circuit either, is he? I mean, he's raced here last year. He's run well here last year.
Yeah, and he's done the Suzuka 8 Hours for Honda and Kawasaki in the past.
In fact, he ran well here last year, but I do remember that he was struggling. I can just remember him, nothing was gelling, but like he always does, he pulled it out when the race came, you know what I mean? Like, all the diversity, all the problems he put to one side, and he managed to get a good result. And he's got that BMW working for him well.
Yeah, he has. He's got that hooked up very early in the season, really.
I'll tell you one man who's just gone backwards a little bit from the front row, Ratapong Willarot. He started on the front row of the grid, but he's in 5th position now, just behind Brian Starring with Brock Parks behind him. So, unfortunately, for Ratapong's front row start, he's just fallen back a little bit.
Aslan much tidier through that turn than he was last time. Not going to give Apiwak the chance.
I mean, it is quite a long way around here, 9 laps, especially on one of these bikes. They are quite physical, and as we've seen in all the other classes, especially the 600 class, tyre wear is an issue. We saw that with Pirapong. His bike starting to move around. Just to confirm there, you can see the pink stripe around the back tyre of Aslan Shah. He definitely has the soft tyre on compared to everybody else's medium hard.
Yeah, and nobody troubling Brian Starring in 4th position at the moment. That's really good for him.
Yeah, we have to keep an eye on the tyres. Fastest lap of the race so far is Apiwak in 3rd position. Starring 2:11.7. That's a pretty impressive lap time for him too. In fact, he's pulling that group in up front.
Yep. He's found his way around Suzuka pretty fast, considering the lack of track time.
Yeah, absolutely. 4th position at the moment from Australia. Races in the Australian Superbike Championship as well. Leads that championship over there. So it's no mean task to come to Suzuka, miss a session and still be where he is on track. Good result.
Yeah, he was jumping with excitement. I came over on the same ferry as him from the airport, and he was so excited about coming here.
Well,
almost as excited as I was.
I guess of all the tracks and places in the world that you can ride, although they don't have GPs here at this circuit anymore, this is one of the iconic historic tracks in the world. So why wouldn't you want to race here? And he's doing a great job out there at the moment, but the man who leads them all and seems to be controlling the race is Zakwan Zaidi.
Yeah, he's under pressure, but he's not buckling, not showing any signs of buckling. The bike looks steady. It looks nice and smooth. This is what we know from Zakwan when he's at his best. This is what we're looking at right now.
Well, we know Aslan can get a little bit desperate sometimes. He can take the risk. Do you think he's going to do that here today?
So early days yet. 8 laps to go.
I think that Zakwan's just going to get stronger. He really does look now like his medium hard tyres just starting to give him a little bit more feel, because that's what happens with these tyres. If you choose a harder tyre, it might take a few more laps for it to come up to optimum working temperature and grip. And just to me, it just looks like right here, right now, it's just starting to feel good, because you can just see him now stretching it out even more. Brock Parks has joined onto the back now of Brian Starring there. He's got a lot of work to do. Ideally, he wants to get in front of Aslan Shah, just in front of him. Brock knows his way around this circuit and tries to dive up the inside of Brian Starring, but he can't do it there. Starring's in deep. Tries to make up just that little bit too much ground, but he holds it together. And look at that group now.
Yeah.
What a cracker of a 1000cc race we've got here this weekend.
Yeah, one second covering that top 5.
Yeah, that's
and less than
stuff.
that now as they go into turn 1.
But it is the man out front, Honda Asia Dream Racing, Zakwan Zaidi, who leads the way. Still 7 laps to go in this one. It's a long way around this circuit, more than 35 kilometres racing left.
Yeah, and behind them, Yuki Ito has moved in front of Ratapong Wilrot, who's now down to 7th after starting from the middle of the second row. Shinichi Nakatomi's in 8th position, and Bastian Mackles, very useful rider, in 9th position. Ahmad Yudhistira 10th.
Yeah, good to see Yudi in that top 10. He's aiming to finish 5th in the championship if he can. Not an easy task, because there's a lot of factory bikes out there. And that's the thing I like about this Asia Road Racing Championship. There's a lot of factory involvement. You don't see that in so many championships around the world anymore, but the factories are certainly coming here.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're right at the heart of this championship. Honda Asia Dream, or Asia Dream Honda Racing. Been around a lot, and I think it's the same team that is going to do the Suzuka 8 Hours.
Well, Brock Parks is on a charge now. He's made his way past Brian Starring and caught up in quick time to Apuath Wong Thananon. So Brock Parks now is on a bit of a mission to catch up to the man in front. You can see that Brock has definitely got that hard front tyre with the white stripe around the spoon curve, as they call it there. A great spot to see what Dunlop tyres everybody has fitted to their machines.
Yeah, and here he's having a look up the side of Apiwat. He won't find it that easy to pass him.
No, it's definitely not going to be easy. But Starring is also now, looks like he's going to be coming under pressure very soon from Yuki Ito. Yuki Ito is starting to find his mojo. Obviously riding through the pain barrier after injuring his leg and foot earlier on in the weekend. Yuki Ito has joined the fray, and he is at the back of the pack there. There's Aslan Shah's board, P2 it shows, but there's a lot of pressure on him at the moment.
Yeah, I think he knows he's P2.
As they head up through this part of the circuit, there's a lot of switchbacks. They call SCSs, and there's a lot of them. It's easy to get lost in this part of the circuit.
Yeah, I think so. We were talking to Brian Starring this morning, and he was saying following other riders is one thing, but when you're on your own, you need to get around on your own so you can actually find your way around and not get disorientated, especially in these snake curves.
Absolutely, and that the Dunlop curve there, one of the longest left-handers in the business, just seems to go on and on forever. But Zakwan Zaidi, boy, he looks like he's having no problems at all. His bike looks like it's completely in control.
Yeah.
So a good little practice run for him for the Suzuka 8 Hours, which is coming up. Of course, he'll be part of that. Half a second the gap between Zakwan Zaidi, who leads, and Aslan Shah in second at the moment. Running a pace of 2.210, that's not a bad lap time at all.
Yeah, virtually identical pace between those front two.
Brock Parks now puts himself into an attacking position with Apiwath in front of him. This is where Brock crashed in qualifying. He won't be wanting to make that mistake again. He ended up over there near the barriers into the spoon curve. Just holds it all together, and nice tight line there. Bit of rear wheel movement, but once again it's Zakwan Zaidi who's pulling that gap out. I'm wondering if that tyre of Aslan Shah is starting to move around that little bit or not give the drive, because the two Yamaha boys at the back there with the harder tyres are certainly now right on the back wheel and looking for a way through. And there goes Brock up the inside. He's through. Nice clean move for Brock Parks. Another guy who will be doing the 8 hour.
Yeah, nicely done. And I think there was a change in the order behind. I think Yuki got past Brian Starring. Let's take a look.
Not quite. Starring still in front of him, I think. But
yeah,
Brock Parks is certainly making his way forward at the moment. He's going to be doing everything he can to catch up to the man in front of him. Of course, Aslan Shah sits second in the championship at the moment. Brock with 105 points, Aslan on 97 points, 84 points for Zakwan Zaidi, so he's not out of this either. He needs this win. But those three guys up front are the three in the championship top three.
Yeah, and it's Brock's consistency that's put him at the top of the standings. He's had the one win, but he's had a good finish every time out. Aslan, not so consistent, although he has bagged 3 wins.
Absolutely, he's been phenomenal on his day, has Zakwan Zaidi, but spectacular is what you would call Aslan Shah, just as you said.
Yeah.
Brock Parks hard on the brakes, upright, runs a bit wide. Geez, he's come from a long way back, hasn't he, Brock? Really good job, and he's going to dive up the inside here. Brock Parks hard on the brake into the new chicane, and just nips up the inside of Aslan Shah. I think he wants a bit of victory, does Brock Parks?
Yeah, I think so. Zakwan has looked so smooth at the front, but I think he's got some disturbance coming.
Well, it's looking that way, isn't it, with Brock right on the tail now, but Zakwan hasn't really pushed out of his comfort zone yet, so be interesting to see. You can just see Brock's rear tyre moving around, but pretty controllably there.
Yeah, I think the race will change shape a little bit now.
Well, there's still quite a way to go. 5 laps to go in this one, and it's number 21 versus number 23. Factory Yamaha versus Factory Honda. Brock's favourite line up the inside. Won't be so easy to do that to Zakwan Zaidi. He knows this place inside out.
Yeah, a little gap there back to Aslan Shah and Apiwat.
Whoa, Brock around the outside. What a drive by Brock Parks.
Yeah.
Does he pull it off? And I think he has. He's pulled it off. That was a brilliant drive by Brock Parks out of the final corner. It's put himself in the lead of this race.
Yeah, Zakwan ran a little bit wide then on that tightening, that difficult turn 1.
Well, he's...
but the disturbance came quickly.
It certainly did. It sort of came without Zakwan Zaidi even knowing it was coming. He went around the outside. That would have been the last place he would have been looking for him. But it is Brock Parks now who's out in front with that hard front tyre on. Has he made the right choice? It seems to be. He's the only one with it fitted that I can see in that leading group at least. And it seems to have pretty good front end feel at the moment.
Not much sign of an answer from Zakwan just yet.
Not yet, but perhaps Zakwan's feathers were flustered.
It would have been.
Might take him a couple of corners to regain his mojo and see if he can stick with Brock. But Brock's had another moment. Brock has lost the gear again. Brock is certainly having gear-changing problems. Now he's got to do that all again with 4 laps to go. It's not coming easy for Brock Parks. We know he's a fighter, but Zakwan Zaidi is back in the lead of this race. Brock Parks has definitely got some sort of gear change issue there. Let's have another look. He's got in there. He's tried to change up through the gears. He's missed the gear, and you can see him whacking it back into gear. Something is not adjusted right. Remember, he had that big crash on the left-hand side of the bike. Something not to his liking, and he's going to have to nurse it home, but it could cost him victory.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. We saw him take his foot off the rear set under braking, and when he put it back on, he couldn't find the gear.
Yeah, absolutely. It knocked into neutral or something, I think. He managed to find it quicker than last time, but Brock Parks is certainly in trouble. Not so much problem here, but it seems to be on those left-handers where the gear shifter is down towards the ground. Perhaps his boot is just touching it, and it's not adjusted right. Who knows? But something for the Yamaha team to have a look at tonight. Of course, Yamaha Racing Team ASIAN doing a fantastic job with Brock Parks out there here this weekend. Zakwan Zaidi runs wide. Zakwan Zaidi, what a mistake from him. He didn't need to do that.
No.
Which allows Apiwath to come back through now. So Apiwath moves up into 3rd position, and Zakwan Zaidi is the one making the mistakes.
Yeah.
Brock Parks, thank you very much.
We thought the race was going to change shape, and it has. The smooth, sort of imperious progress of Zakwan has been well and truly disrupted.
Let's have a look and see what happened. Brock Parks goes up the inside. Zakwan goes in really deep, braked a lot later, loses the front early on, picks it up. Luckily, there's that little bit of bitumen there. Leans it in, takes a risk over the green curbing there, but manages to get back on track. And now he's struggling to fit onto the podium.
Yeah, now he's got the small matter of Apiwat and Aslan in front of him.
Well, Apiwat's never easy to pass. Brock Parks takes a more casual approach that time around there, keeps his foot on the peg, and the bike stays in gear. Pulls out that gap, maintains that gap. 2:11.0 for Brock last time around, so the lap times have drifted off a little bit. But it is Aslan Shah who sits in second, so it's your championship leader out front. Aslan Shah in second, who sits second. Not much more he can do, I think. He's got places he can lose, though. Apiwath, you've got to think he wants to get onto the podium in second, not third.
Yeah, he was the fastest man last time around. And Zakwan, we'll talk about Apiwat. Zakwan's just knocked him back a place.
Certainly has. He's used that Honda grunt, but Apiwath up the inside leaves Zakwan with nowhere to go. Good result there. And Apiwath says, no way, I'm not having that. Look at the rear end there of Aslan Shah. He's chosen that soft Dunlop. You can just see it pumping as he heads onto that start-finish straight. Still working, still good lap times, but he's having to work for those times now.
Yeah, Apiwat too. I can see the rear of his bike moving around.
Brock Parks, last time around, 2:10.1. He is on an absolute mission. 0.8 of a second quicker than Aslan Shah in second place. So Brock Parks has got this one in the bag if he can keep it in gear and if he can keep it on the track.
That's it. So his plans worked so far.
And I tell you what, Brian Starring's not doing a bad job either. Brian Starring's just moved into the 2:10s. A 2:10.7 for him. His fastest lap of the race puts him in a position that with a couple of laps to go, he could almost be in the spot for a podium if things work out. So Brian Starring on the Kawasaki making his way forward.
And he's got himself in front of Yuki Ito, who, despite his injury, I honestly don't think that's affecting Yuki too much. Yuki, of course, has massive experience around here. Brian really has just a few laps.
Yeah, Aslan Shah, you can see, he's gone with the soft front and rear on that bike. So soft everything for the BMW riders here this weekend. It seems to be working and holding up, though, because although he's moving around a little bit, he does have second position at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't look too untidy, does it?
No, because it doesn't look like Zakwan Zaidi can do too much about it. He's stuck there now in fourth position. Once again, just the rear moving on his machine. The Honda might be nice. He's got a good slipstream, though. Can he do something into the R130 at the end of this straight? No, Yamaha too quick. He pulls out, he dips in there. What a move! He's knocked Apiwath a little bit wide, but that was a big, brave move by the Malaysian, and he puts himself up into third position as they just about head onto the final lap. There was not much room there, but he made room when it counted.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of contact between Zach Wan's knee slider and Apiwath's shoulder.
Here we go, another look,
There you
just
go.
up the inside there. That was a big, brave move. That's one of the fastest corners in motorsport there, over 200 kilometres an hour as they head into there. So absolute precision used by the man on the Honda Asia Dream racing machine.
Yeah, and that won't phase Apiwath too much. He knows how to get into a scrap.
Well, he's probably going to be having a scrap right now if he can, because as we head into this final lap, it is Apiwath who is off the podium at the moment. Will he strike back? He needs to, but Brock Parks did a 209.7 last time through, just getting faster lap after lap. 2:10.3 for Aslan Shah. That's his fastest lap of the race too.
Yeah, brilliantly judged race this from Brock.
Yeah, he really has. It's taken him a little while to get his act together, but 209.7 is a very impressive lap time. Aslan Shah, of course, in second position. He's pretty much got that under control at the moment, but it's all Brock Parks out front, and you've got to say he has earned this victory. He really has. Everybody's got their fingers crossed for him at the moment. They've seen the bike run wide for some reason in that tight corner, but Brock now, he's got a bit of a gap. All he needs to do is hold it together. He had a big moment and crashed in qualifying into the spoon curve right here. He gets it right this time, and he knows that it's his race to lose. You can just see him taking his time now. He doesn't want a high side here. Heading onto that back straight, he's looking behind. There's no one there, Brock. Keep your head down.
Yeah, perfectly through spoon then. And it's all going on behind him. It's Aslan and Zach Wan who are going to dispute second position.
Watch Zach Wan. Zach Wan's going to go again. He's done it again, and he's nipped up the inside. It's him that runs a little bit wide this time. But Aslan on the brakes into the final corner. We know he's going to try. Aslan, not much he can do. Zach Wan's 80, closes the inside line, and fair play, gets that spot back. But it's all Brock Parks. Takes his second victory of the year as he crosses the line on the number 23 ASIAN Racing Team Yamaha R1. What a brilliant result for Brock Parks. Zach Wanzaidi takes second, and Aslan Shah, another podium for him. That's 3 in a row, 2 wins and a third. What a brilliant 1000cc race, and boy are those guys happy.
Yeah, they're happy. Their injured rider came through 6, Yuki Ito. Well done for him too.
Yeah, really good to see Yuki Ito get a good result. I feel for him a little bit because I feel that he could have perhaps produced a little bit of magic, but it's all Brock Parks, 209.7, the only man in the field to get into the 209s out there. So he really did have that little bit of extra pace compared to everybody else. He's had his ups, he's had his downs, but Brock Parks wins this weekend here, race 1.
Yeah, it's almost like he has a relationship with Suzuka. They gave him a bit of a slap this morning in qualifying when he had that big crash at the spoon, but he's come back, he's come through it. If he is injured, there's no sign of it, and he wouldn't let on anyway.
No, an absolute stellar result for him, and I'm sure that him and this man, Aslan Shah, will be enjoying this cool-down lap. You can see Aslan Shah coming up next to him now, and no communication between those two riders there. Not sure if there's a beef between them or not, but nevertheless, I'm sure that Aslan Shah is probably a little bit disappointed he couldn't go one better.
Yeah, it's just stretched the gap a little bit in the championship, but from Aslan's point of view, it's better because he's got a good result.
No, he certainly has.
So he's showing a bit more consistency than he was.
You can never sneeze at a podium, and like you say, he's been very consistent on that bike. 2 wins last time out, a third in race 1 here. And don't forget, if you're watching on Fox Sports Asia, to join us tomorrow for a day 2 here at Suzuka, GMT plus 9 hours. We will be back on track, so do not forget to join us tomorrow. But the action hasn't finished here yet. We'll be hearing from our winners soon. There's still more to come.
Yeah, and Steve, the best of the wild cards was, in fact, the German Bastian Mackels.
Here are your results. Brock Park takes the win. Yamaha Racing Team Asian. Good lap time from him too. Zakwan Zaidi had to work for second place. Aslan Shah in third. Apiwak looked like he could take the victory at one point. Brian Starring, good save. Fifth position for him. Yuki Ito with that injury in sixth. Seventh, Ratapong Willarot. Still pretty impressive stuff. He's making his way forward. As you said, Bastian McEarls in eighth position. Really good result on the BMW. Shinji Nakatomi from World Superbike fame and Dunlop Tyre Development in ninth. 10th is Katsu Matsuda. Chai Witchett Kawasaki Ninja Mounted is in 11th. 12th, TJ Alberto. 13th is Adrian Saya. 14th is Jonathan Serapika. And 15th, Ahmed Yudhishthira. So a big race for a lot of those guys out there. But it is Brock Parks who takes the victory. And what do you make of that after the big crash he had?
That was a really well-earned victory. A clever race, even regardless of the of what he went through this morning, wrecking his bike, giving the team all that work. So you've seen the team come through it.
No, he certainly did, didn't he? It was a fantastic result for him. You can see his sponsor there, KYT Helmets, coming all the way from Australia to support him. Zakwan Zaidi, good run out for him. Of course, these guys are going to get to do it all tomorrow again, aren't they? So that's impressive stuff. But Zakwan Zaidi, when you consider at the start of the year he broke his wrist, he really has had a pretty strong year.
Yeah, Zakwan is a very strong rider. He races almost every weekend in one championship or another. And
now you were telling me that not only does he race a superbike here, he also races the Cup Prix.
The Cup Prix, the Underbone Series in Malaysia, yep.
Yeah, of course.
So he loves his racing.
Yeah, the Malaysian rider riding the superbike does an absolute fantastic job. He has plenty of fans. And I know that very shortly we will be heading down to Wei Ling in the pit lane. I think she is down there now. So let's hear from Wei Ling with our winners.
Down here at Park for May with Aslan Shah Kamaruzaman, who finished third today in race one. Aslan, share us, how was the first ever ASB1000 race here at Suzuka?
So difficult. So much difficult today because I'm the only one that use soft compound front and rear. So it's difficult for me to keep with them because I can see Brock and Zakwan, the tire stability is very good. But my bike start to move in 5 laps and a bit struggle. I didn't push, I just keep calm and try to keep the tire. But in the end, I get the spinning a lot. But anyway, it's good for the championship. Very important point for me and for the team. And I hope tomorrow we try the best again to get a podium.
All right, thank you so much, Aslan. Well said. And coming in second place today is Muhammad Zakwan Zaidi. Zakwan, starting from pole, it looked like you had a good pace in the front, but share so what happened towards the second half, because we saw you run off at the first turn?
Firstly, I want to thanks to my team. They make a very good job this weekend, and also I also happy with the bike, and also thanks to my sponsor and also my fans to come here. I'm so happy. But in the race, I expect I want to win, but I have some mistake in the few laps, almost lost it in the first lap. So I going wide, and also my mistake maybe too fast in the corner. But I try to catch up back in the fourth position, not easy. I see Brock a little bit gap, but I try to catch up. But finally second position is good. But for sure next round I want to win.
All right, thank you so much, Zakwan, and picking up his second win this season in the ASB 1000. First place winner, Brock Parks. Brock, you went off a little during the start of the race, a little confusing, but you did manage to find your pace and find your way to the front to pick up another win today.
Yes, it was a tough race because, you know, we had a small problem with the bike, and it did it like 2 or 3 times at the start and then one at the end, and every time I was losing 1 or 2 spots. But anyway, I crashed the bike in the qualifier, and then the guys fixed it. It was nearly destroyed, so big thank you to them. And yeah, this week I was sick with a cold, so I'm really happy to finish now. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Brock. We'll see all 3 riders on the podium shortly.
Well, Aslan said that he was struggling with wheel spin. Zakwan was making too many mistakes, and Parks certainly had to work for it. Let's have a recap of how it all happened, and it was Zakwan Zaidi who shot off into the lead, with Aslan Shah making his way forward from the second row of the grid. Brock Parks also got an absolute cracker of a start.
Yeah, he did, and this was really a race of two halves. We saw Zakwan just looking so smooth and so much in control for the first half. And of course, this mistake from Brock put him back, and then the story of the race was his recovery from that and how he got himself into a position where he could challenge for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Aslan Shah was pretty happy with his Dunlop soft tyres for the start of the race, but after about 5 laps, we heard him say he knew he was in trouble because they were sliding around everywhere. Perhaps he should have chosen the hard. Perhaps Brock's problem was gear-related, I reckon, because he ran wide in that corner 2 or 3 times, which made his day very, very long. Possibly might not have even finished, but nevertheless, he was diving up the inside at every opportunity. Got Apiwath at that time. Next in line was Aslan Shah. Got a nice drive here and up the inside. Nothing wrong on the corner entry with his ASEAN Yamaha. Just nipped through and made his way up to the back of the number 21, Zakwan Zaidi. Zakwan Zaidi at this point in time was still looking unassailable, but then Brock did this. Incredible.
Yeah, this is what I've been waiting to see again. This was a brilliant move.
Just around the outside, just to show that he could do it. Zakwan didn't even see that coming and put himself in front, a little bit wide there from Zakwan. But then Brock had the same problem again. Lost a couple of spots. Luckily for him that time, it was only 1 spot. And then Zakwan Zaidi ran out of track, had a bit of a bump on the front end, and a couple of guys, 3 went through. So that put him in 4th place. Looked like he wouldn't even finish on the podium at all. He had to fight back now, and he got past Apiwath in a very tight move. And it's off the end of the straight there. Not much room there, Barry.
No, I don't think there was any room at all.
But nevertheless, he managed to pull it off. And he did the same again to Aslan Shah, who was struggling at this stage in the race with his soft Dunlops. Be interesting to see what he does tomorrow. But over the line, Brock Parks one-handedly takes victory, and I'm sure that they'll be looking at his bike to perfect it for tomorrow. So Brock Parks with the win. That was a brilliant stuff. Let's head down to Willing.
For the ASB1000 race 1, coming in 3rd place today, Aslan Shah Kamaruzaman from 1XOS TKKR SAG team. And in 2nd place today, Muhammad Zakwan Zaidi from Honda Asia Dream Racing with Showa. And today's race winner, Brock Parks from Yamaha Racing Team ASEAN. And the best team today is Yamaha Racing Team ASEAN. We will now stand for the national anthem of Australia. We would now like to invite Mr. Sadahiko Matsumura, the General Manager of Sumitomo Rubber Industry, Dunlop, to present the riders with the trophies. Coming in 3rd place today from Malaysia, Aslan Shah Kamaruzaman. In second place today from Malaysia, Muhammad Zakwan Zaidi. And today's ASB1000 Race 1 winner from Australia, Brock Parks. The best team award today goes to Yamaha Racing Team ASEAN. We'll now have a quick photography session.
Well, there we have it. What a fantastic result for our first ever 1000cc ASB race here in Japan. And what a race it was. It wasn't a case of somebody heading off and winning. We had multiple leaders, lots of different opportunities, passing. It was a fantastic result. And as far as the championship goes, it means that Brock Parks has stretched his lead out to 130 points over Aslan Shah's 113 on the BMW. Zakwan Zaidi stays in third on 104 points. Apiwath is on 89. Yuki Ito, some good points for him on 79. Brian Starring is climbing up that leaderboard now, 74 points in sixth position. Rathapong Willarot's getting better with every outing in seventh. Eighth, Ahmed Udistra. Keep an eye on him. On his day, he is fast. TJ Alberto, the Ducati, in the top 10. And also 10th is Pong Warrakorn. He'll be back soon. Farid Badrul Hisham in 11th. 12th is Jonathan Sarapka. Shai Witcher Nicholson on the Kawasaki factory machine in 13th. Katsu Matsuda 14th. 15 Bastian Michels from Germany. And Shinji Nakatomi gets some points as well. So really good to see that race underway. But if you've enjoyed the racing here at the Suzuka circuit, don't forget to join us tomorrow on Fox Sports Asia GMT plus 9 hours, because we will be back for 4 more races of the Asia Road Racing Championship. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to the team, and hope to see you then.